Ajita, are you able to hear me?
Yes, sir. Now we are able to hear.
Okay, because there's some screen which came in between.
Yeah. Now we are able to hear.
Okay,
you can go ahead.
1 minute. Okay, so they will add up all the produce, how much you have produced, the value of the produce in each of these sectors. They'll aggregate and they'll sum up and they'll form a value. So that is a GDP in terms of factor cost method. Another one is the expenditure method. What is the domestic consumption? The total of domestic consumption, total how much we are spending, means like our private spending. That is called private spending, domestic consumption. And then the net investments, how much investments we have made. Okay. And then the government, how much the government is spending for their capital expenditure. So all these things. And then the exports, they'll add up all these things, these four, and they'll minus the imports. So the expenditure method gives the domestic consumption plus net investments plus government spending plus exports minus imports. Okay. Now, since the domestic consumption is already reduced because of the situation, investments, obviously there is no money to invest. So there is there. And then the government is not going to spend anything wisely, because obviously they have to spend more on the recovery part of this COVID situation. And the exports it's already low. Okay. But yes, it may recover, but it will take some time. But the small and medium industries, SMEs, are already under very tremendous pressure. They are already come down. So if you take this way by the expenditure method, you can understand, instead of going to the factor cost method, you can just go by the expenditure method itself, and you can visualize the GDP is going to be very much down. How much down? The expenditure, the GDP, some estimates say by the ICRA, there is a rating agency called ICRA, they have estimated that the current GDP is going to be affected by 2%, which earlier, they had told about 4.27 to 5.2%. Now it is going to be 2%, which means this first quarter starts from April, May, June. So this is the first quarter. End of this first quarter, there'll be a GDP contraction of about 20% in the first quarter itself of the total GDP. Okay, so which means by the estimates, every how they calculate the GDP, end of the month. From the end of the month, they will give the GDP figures within 2 months from the end of the first quarter, which means first quarter ends by 30th of June. So from 30th of June, another 2 months, maybe about August end, they will calculate the GDP and give it to the figures to the nation. So this is how it has been done. So by that, the final figures will be achieved by say about May 31st of 2021 will be the GDP figures, actual GDP figures will be arrived. And this agency is rating mostly, it will be somewhere around 1.5 to 2% only. So which is very low. But this is not only for India. The International Monetary Fund is actually predicting that it is going to be about almost all the nations, and even the developing nations. I mean, many nations, they are not even bothered about the GDP, but we are bothered about GDP because we are almost, competing with all the international economy superpowers. So definitely we are working on more concerned about the GDP as well as, but most of the developed nations, the GDP is always, mostly positive, because their budget is always a surplus budget. They do not have to, they only give the money to other nations, they do not borrow. Say developed nations like UK, USA, Germany, France, big nations like Japan and all, they are actually giving out. But now even those nations are also, they are thinking. So they are cutting down the money which they are going to spend for other nations. Most of the nations, they are giving through United Nations of, the organization, or, for the health, they are going to give through the United Nations health programs. But unfortunately, many nations are going to cut down the cost, which is going to be spent out of their nation. They want to spend their money for their own recovery, for the recovery of their nation. So this is what is going to be the situation now, as of now. Now, how the industries are going to be affected. What are the industries? How it is going to be affected? I'm just giving a brief. The manufacturing industry definitely is going to be a downturn, and services industry downturn. Downturn means like it's going down actually on their projected figures. They are actually going to be down. Agriculture, they expect because of the crops actually it is going to be this crops, rabi crops, they call as rabi crops. So since it is going to be a good, agriculture may go up little, not much, but it may go up little, because many people are now started focusing on the agriculture also, which is going to be significantly, that is going to give a little boost for the GDP. And the construction, it's almost close to zero. It is going to be zero. Zero means like it is going to be zero. Downturn is from the positive trend, it is coming down. So that is what I mean. Construction is close to be zero. Tourism, because of the situation, is already down. So it is close to be zero. Banking, it is going to be definitely sharply, it is going to be curtailed, because people do not want to, either people even who have already borrowed loans, they are not able to pay because of the situation. And, banks are also very skeptical about getting money collected. So they also do not want to give, because people will have issues even in collection. So then again, there'll be a problem in the economy due to that. Due to the NPS, it will become NPS. So obviously, better to not to give the loans. So this is the kind of situation the banks may adopt, unless they are very sure about the companies who are applying for loans. Even for the individuals who are applying for the loans, they may not go for they won't disburse loans to such companies or people. So there is definitely going to be a curtailment, and the transport definitely there is a sharply curtailed. Mining, maybe moderately it will be curtailed. And electricity means like there are many private electricity producers through all the non-renewable resources. So definitely there is going to be a curtailment, but it will be moderate. So this is going to be the industrial scenario. So I have just given an idea. Probably all these things I'm just giving you for you to understand the total overall scenario for the freshers. When you go inside the industry, maybe 2 years earlier, it would have been very different. Now, the total outlook is different. How you see the industry is going to be different. How you will be treated will be going to be different. So everything is going to be different. So you need to be prepared yourself for that. Okay, prepare for the worst. But okay, that is we are optimistic, and things are not going to be too low. It will definitely come up, but we need to look at. Okay, so I'll go to the next slide to explain more. So most of the industrial growth is interlinked. Okay, now let's take an example of the automobile industry. Just give an example of automobile industry. Though some says due to the social distancing, people who might be willing, who are already going in shared transports, might be going through auto cabs and all, the shared transport may opt to go for a new vehicle, maybe their own vehicle. But still, bank loans are difficult at this moment, as I told you earlier. And, that is due to the job stability. So, and it's also a factor of purchasing power for the people. Okay. So and another one, the work from home trends have already come up. So mostly people have started working, not only IT industry, even most of the industries now, they're exploring the ways how, people can be asked to work from home, except the manufacturing sector, or even in the manufacturing sector, maybe the design, all the departments which are not required to be in they can sit at home and work. So those kind of people are asked to go and sit at home and work. So this is the situation at this moment. So because of all these services, so the automobile industry, though people may predict that there might be a up in the coming days, but still, due to all these reasons, definitely it is not very sure whether the automobile industry is going to go up or not. So you can just see how it is going to be. Industrial growth is interlinked. So it's just an example I gave. And the 5 major industries that are going to be affected due to this COVID is, one is tourism, number one. It is worldwide it is affected, and definitely in India also is there. And sports, yes, it is affected already. It's a huge industry. Entertainment, it's a very big industry in the world over, and I think that is going to recover. But again, there's already the losses which has already been happened for the last 3 months and 4 months. It'll it'll take more time for them to recover. So that is why they have given in the third position. In the retail markets like, you know, your clothing, textiles, F&B, you know, all this comes under retail markets. That's also going to be affected. And then the financial, technically finance, like fintech markets. Now that's also going to be affected because of fintech means like all these financing companies, or even the you know, the multi-level marketing companies, the bitcoins, all these things. You know, that's going to be affected. This kind of because there will not be any investments, so that is going to be affected. So these are the 5 major industries which some organizations are predicting to be affected. Okay, now how companies how they are going to recover? The recovery, as I told you, we do not know how it is. Nobody is able to predict. There are 3 types of recovery which they have they're expecting. One is V-shaped recovery, that is actually called recovery, V-shape, and there is a W-shape. I'll explain all these things later. What is W-shape? It is a delay. W-shape means it's a delay. Then L-shaped is a disaster. Okay, now coming to V-shaped. What is V-shaped? V-shaped is actually a recovery model. When there is a slowdown, companies are going to do bad for some time, and maybe again when the market realizes and it's coming up because of the easiness of the government, then again within 6 months it will come up. So that is called the V curve. So it will come down and again steeply it will turn up. So that is the actual recovery models many countries, many economies are doing. But in India, not only in India, global economy at the moment is at stake. So we do not know how it is going to happen. Okay, now the coming second one is the W-shape. W-shaped is a delay, which means there will be a hiccup. Maybe it will take, if say, for example, if the same situation of the COVID is going to happen, because now the government is saying that you have to live with a virus, right? So you should practice yourself, or even some governments are saying even the earlier 3 lockdowns or the 4 lockdowns are going to be only the exercise for you to understand the concept of lockdown, and maybe over a period of time you need to be more you should be understanding how the virus would be, and you need to be living along with the virus forever. So it could not be eradicated. That's what the World Health Organization also says, and that's also the government says. So that if that is going to be the situation, maybe for another 1 or 2 years, the situation will be worsening. Social distancing measures have to be done, and all these things will delay the recovery process of the organizations. So that is going to be a hiccup. That is what is the W. So there will be a delay, but that will come up maybe after a few years, maybe 2 to 3 years later, it will come up. Now, third thing is the L-shape. L-shaped is nothing but it's a disaster, which means it has come down. Actually, it is like a L-shape only. It has come down. It is not a V or a W. It has come down on the scenario of coming down. I'm telling from the industries, because there is a stop of due to the lockdown. So completely for this 1 or 2 months, it was completely stopped. So it has vertically it has come down, and then there is no certainty when it is going to rise. So it is going to be a flat curve. There is no curve. That is going to be a flat line. So that is what is the L shape. So that is called a disaster. Sometimes in disasters, not in sometimes, mostly, many companies are expected to shut down their business, or they want to stop their business for some time, maybe 3 to 5 years, and then it will recover. Or maybe they'll choose some other business. The promoters may choose to do some other business, and they'll go from their existing business. So that is how the L-shaped disasters. The L-shaped disasters have happened in many countries where there is internal aggressions, like in Iraq, all these Gulf nations where they were having some issues due to the war and all. So there, this kind of L-shaped disasters happen. But when there is a natural disaster, there will be a V-shaped recovery, like cyclones and all. So there will be a loss, and then they'll come up. That is called V-shaped recovery. Maybe if there are intermittent problems again due to the natural calamities, there will be a W-shaped recovery. But we do not know at this moment. But I'm sure many industries are going to be in the W-shaped category, and some are going to be in the L-shape. We do not know the situation, but how government is going to react to this, even government is not able to give any proper reply to that. So that is the situation at this moment of time. Okay, now I have given a broader picture of the industry, the economy, the GDP, everything for you to understand. Now, let's go to the industries. What you guys, the freshers, maybe I'm addressing to many people now here. I do not know how many people are out of the industry, but definitely 80% of participants are from the college only. Either they are freshers or maybe they are going out from the industries, from the institute, or they have already joined the industries. Doesn't matter. It's all, I'll consider all of you as freshers only. So I will give some suggestions. This generally everybody gives, but the important thing I'll explain for each of that. Okay. So one is the sincerity in work. Sincerity in work. Why that is everybody says the sincerity is required, but sincerity in work is very much important at this point of time, because this is going to be a major thing. You may be a performer, but you may not be sincere to the organization. Many times, even without sincerity, people are retained because you will be an asset because of the performance. But now the industries cannot take this kind of things lightly, because you may be a potential threat for the organization's growth if you are not sincere. You may be a performer. Sometimes, people may perform, but they will not be sincere to the organization. So that is one thing, which is very important. And then the punctuality, punctuality on time, every time. It's not on time only once or twice. Every time you are expected to be punctual, because the companies, when you enter the companies, that is one thing, which will be measured. That's a measuring parameters in the initial days, because you need to be trained. You need to be, given a lot of ideas about the company, the training, technical training, everything to measure your performance. But the initial time, one thing, the companies or even your managers, your bosses will be seeing you is through the punctuality. So you need to be on time every time. So otherwise, there'll be a big competition for you among your colleagues, and definitely those who are able to impress your bosses through this punctuality definitely is going to have upper hand over the confirmation. Okay, now third thing is efficiency. The efficiency is nothing but the productivity. So if you want to be efficient, what you need to do, you need to be more focused on the business. See, you might be studying a lot of things. You might be learning a lot of things. Some might have already finished their engineering graduation, and then they would have joined here. Some they would have gone for commerce and they would have joined MBA. Some would have been in some other field. Maybe even some people go to other fields like a medical field and they come to MBA. They want to be managing the healthcare systems. So there are many people, diversified people. But when it is coming for the efficiency, like you need to be focused on the requirements of the company. The company, you might be expert in something else, but you're going to be working in a company. So you cannot say that I do not know about this. You need to learn what the company requires. It may not be the context in which you have studied your lessons. Definitely, it may be even very small, but you can actually give a comprehension by way of smart working. Okay, the fourth one which I mentioned is smart working. Whatever the learnings which you have had, you can actually complement to your working. So that is what is called smart working. And you need to use all the smart tools which are available through computers, or even all this, the methods which probably definitely you are aware of. You can use it to work smartly and, impress your bosses. Okay, not only bosses, actually it is for your own self. Obviously all these things you are doing for your own self. Maybe the factors actually will boost up your morale, and also it will impress the bosses. But unfortunately, the final thing which is going to happen is your own self, the growth of your own self. So that is very important. And the fourth one is effective communication. Effective communication, always, people, definitely your college might be saying that what is effective communication. They might be doing some courses also, or maybe they might be giving you some lectures at the free time. But effective communication is very important. What I mean is that communication between your bosses or your subordinates or your colleagues on the same platform. You need to be very effectively, you need to communicate, because you might be thinking something in your mind, but you may not be able to communicate properly. It is going to be a disastrous one. Though you may be a very good knowledgeable person, but if you're not able to communicate properly, that is going to be a tough state of affairs in your company. Because you need to, for you to impress your bosses, you need to effectively communicate efficiently with your bosses. If you want to get the works done, to show your performance, you need to communicate effectively to your subordinates, so that they will be able to give the 100% of theirs, at least the maximum of their ability, to do the work. And then developing your skills. Developing your skills is definitely going to be, that is the need of the hour. It is not only once you start working, when you got the job, it's not going to be the end. You need to constantly, people working. You definitely will have your siblings working in some companies outside. They might be saying, if your skills are not developed over a period of time, then the people who down the lane, they'll come up and they'll become your bosses at one point of time. So definitely you need to develop your skills, which is not only required for the job, even out of the job. You need to be, that's why I said, for you to work smartly, you need to know many things. So you need to develop your skills. That will always, that will be a improvement about yourself. And then volunteering in work. Okay, I'm having a job, 9 o'clock I go, 5 o'clock I leave, I come home, I enjoy. That's okay, fine, that and all. But if there is a need of the company, if the company is saying that this need to be done, you just go a step ahead to volunteer yourself to work, okay, for that certain things, okay, because that will also give you an idea that you can explore a lot, because when you're volunteering, which means you are exploring, right? You're exploring what you can do, your abilities, and you can take help from the industries, and even you will be allowed even to go out of the, there will be a out of the dome, like you can go and explore yourself and volunteer in work, and be optimistic that when there is a saying, I have seen people sometimes, whenever there is a work given to someone, people might say, this won't work, it will not, it is not to be done, it can't be done. So this is I have seen about 90% of the people, in the industries, they do say like this, but then they'll be forced to do the work. But if you are forced, then you won't get interest. So if you volunteer yourself, definitely with optimism, that can be done. See, that it cannot be done, you can say only after you try it. Before trying, don't say that can't be done. So you have to try. So that is what I meant is volunteering. That is going to be very significant factor for all your appraisals, volunteering, okay? And then the stability. Stability is a major factor, not only for the companies, for yourself also, which means like when you are getting a job, you need to love your job. You need to love your job. Whether you are going to be there for 1 year, 2 years, or 3 years, you need to love your job. Once you start loving your job, then you will automatically learn more. You will work smart, you will give your productivity, and you will be loved by the people. When you are having a good environment for you, definitely you won't come out of the company, right? So you will not want to come out of the company. Definitely, see, when you join, say, for example, I'll give a small example. When you join a class, when you say 10th standard or 11th standard, when you're going to 11th standard, you will be initially placed in one class. You will make friends, okay? And after 1 month, sometimes there will be some restructuring of the classes, and they will take you to other classes. That time, definitely you will feel that you already made friends and you have made an environment. You do not want to go out, right? But you will be forced. That's a different thing. But that feeling you will get when you start working in industry with all these likings, definitely you will be able to give the stability, because stability is very important for any industries to come up, because they are putting a lot of resources on you to train you, to give you a lot, whatever they have learned, they are giving you the information, they are putting a lot of time and effort, even the money, the manpower, everything to train you. So when even a small kind of training is very important. So all these things put together, when you are getting all this information, that itself will take about 6 months to 1 year for you to get trained, right? After that, 1.5 years, within 1.5 years, if you are leaving the company, definitely the company is to lose a lot, and they're going to spend a lot on the other resources, the other person who's coming in, right? In that case, what is going to happen? The company is going to, there'll be even big companies are different, but the SMEs definitely are going to shake for some time because they are expecting you to perform at the time of performance. You are going out, so that is very important. You need to see. This is on the industrial point. Now coming to the point of an individual. If your stability is not there for every year, 1 year, 2 years, if you're jumping at this moment, definitely that is going to curtail your chances of getting an employment in another company. I'm sure that is going to be, you can vouch on me, people definitely are going to scrutinize your biodata in that manner. If you are not going to be stable, definitely you will not be preferred by other companies also. There are other companies who may prefer also. Performers who are going out of this company definitely will be taken care by the other company. But definitely, they do not want to send you out, right? When a company is taking you, since you are a performer, they are taking you, and they do not want to send you out. So obviously, there will be situations in one side, there will be a different situation. The other side will be a different situation, industrial point of view. But as an individual point of view, as I said, definitely you are going to have a lot of problems in getting an employment. Many people may not be preferring people who are very unstable in organizations. Very, very important point, this one. And then what you need to do, you need to be observe. You need to observe properly. You need to learn a lot. So that is very important because this learning only happens on the job. You cannot all this studies what you make. Your lessons is not. It's going to only give you theories, but actual practical things, how it has to be taken care, how it has to be addressed, how you overcome the problems, how you find a solution for that. All this is going to through your observance and the learnings. Be informative. Be open to everything. Open for all sorts of information. You need to be whatever the maybe a silly information, but listen. When you listen, you will be getting more information. If you are more of speaking than listening, definitely you'll not be able to get more information. Definitely, so that is very important in your initial days because all these things are going to. And the last one I would finish. The last one is do research and analyze the information what you get. Maybe today the information sharing is very prominent and is very fast. If you want to share one information through 5 or 6 groups, it will reach the world within one day. That is the kind of situation today. But whether all the information is right or not, we do not know. So definitely you need to research and analyze the information. So you need to spend a little time on that also, and use those information which is maybe required for the industries, maybe for your work and for your bosses, or even for your colleagues. So it may be helpful. So once you are focusing on all these things, definitely you will be preferred by the industries at that point of time. Definitely they will not want you to, even if there is a recession, definitely they would want you to be, and you're an asset for the company. So definitely they will give a chance for you to perform. They will not, during even the recessions, they will not take you out of the company. Okay, I'll go to the next slide. Now, what is the hiring scenario in our country? That's generally they are saying it's about 60 to 65% due to the COVID, the hiring has come down. And definitely the economic situation is really slowing down and on the slow track. And due to the impact of the revenues and the profitability of the organizations, even the new hirings, they're going to put off for some time in many of the industries. Not only small industries, even big industries are going to, they are going to be little wait and watch situation is there. So they're going to do that. And even for the persons, individuals who have already been selected by the companies, many I have heard from many people, they have already got the offer letters from 2 or 3 companies, but they have not, the Indian letters they've got, but they have not got the offer letters, when to join and the package, everything. Probably they would have, broadly they would have given the Indian letters of selection, but they have not given the offer letters yet. So that is the situation right now, and that is going to happen. And I'm foreseeing that this is going to happen even for the next 6 months to 1 year. Even people may not be absorbed on the employment by the companies. Though you on the roll of their waiting list, but definitely it will be taking some more time for you to join. This may not happen in all industries, but definitely is going to be happening in more than 50 to 60% of the industries at this moment. Okay, now which sectors may hire and which may not, based on the industrial scenario. The healthcare is expected to do good. So healthcare industries like hospitals, pharmaceutical companies, they may require more people, so they may hire. And then the e-commerce and online B2B and B2C portals, that is going to raise, because people are now already now used to getting things through online e-commerce. So we are now used to all kind of payment methods, online payment methods. Now definitely we are going to, even it has reached the villages also, through the people who are working. Their parents might be in the villages, but it is all people have understood the need of the e-commerce and online business. Maybe B2B, which means business to business or business to consumers. So it can be anything, and that is going to really come up. And you need a lot of manpower for that. So it is going to, that industry is going to hire more people. Training industry, as I told you already, since the entertainment is coming down, and since the social distancing is going to be more now, and so the entertainment industries are going to, the tourism and entertainment is going to be down. So since it is going to be down, obviously people are having more time. They need to work out on their skills, upgrade their skills. So obviously they are, the training industries are going to be a little up. So there's going to be a lot of intake for the training also. And as I told you, the banking, financial services and insurance, these are the industries which they may not be hiring, because the people are already having excess people in banking, financial services and insurance company in sector, and the retail sector and logistics also. Because of the situation, this industries may not be hiring at this moment. So this is the situation at this lockdown and post-lockdown scenarios. Okay, now the challenges which the freshers may pose. What are the challenges? There will be tough negotiations of the salaries. You should be prepared for that. We do not know how much salary to ask. Sometimes people may not be knowing how to ask salary. Some may say, like, sir, whatever is the best industrial standard you prefer, you give. Some people probably, if they are having some siblings, elders, they might be working in some company, so they will give an idea about how to negotiate, definitely. And maybe your college also give an idea about how to negotiate. So that's going to be a little difficult. All this, whatever you would have heard through many people, is not going to work. You need to work out entirely different, and according to the situations, you need to react. It may be, sometimes it may go up, sometimes it may go down, sometimes it may be people may not prefer you when you negotiate too much on this thing. So it is going to be a tough negotiation from the industrial side towards you, and you need to be a little cautious about it. And even the candidates which are already selected for the companies have already started hearing from many industries. They are actually started renegotiating with already selected candidates who are already having offers. They would have already promised you maybe 2 to 3 lakhs per annum, or even 5 lakhs per annum. But many companies are now started renegotiating on that. Because now the hirers, the HR people and the other private hirers are given the responsibility by many companies to renegotiate on the salaries. So you need to be very careful on that. Even I do not know how many of you would have got the jobs already. I do not know, but still you need to be very careful on that. You cannot say yes also, you cannot say no also. You need to be a little careful on when you talk anything. And then comes the delayed salaries, and definitely it is expected. If that company is going to be in a W-shaped recovery or the delay, definitely the salaries are going to be delayed. You need to be prepared for that. Generally, that is the industrial scenario at this moment. Sometimes even pay cuts are imminent. Many software industries have, even my known people, many people who are working, they are asked to leave. Even people who are working abroad, they would have gone for some projects they would have been sent by the companies in India. They would have gone to UK or USA. They are asked to leave the country once the lockdown scenario is over. So this is the kind of scenario at this moment. So definitely the salaries of even the senior people are going to be down. So when the senior people's salaries are going to be down, definitely your salaries definitely is going to be down. This is one thing which you need to be very careful. And as I told you, the delayed salaries are imminent at this point of time. For the companies like W recovery model, definitely it is going to be for the next 2 to 3 years. It will be, you may get the salaries, but it will be delayed. Then the confirmation of employment, definitely nowadays, like you are getting confirmed within maybe one, or some people, they get confirmed within 2 months, some maybe getting confirmed in 6 months or even 1 year. All this period is going to be extended because they do not want to put extra burden on the figures, which they are going to give out, means the payouts. So obviously there's going to be a confirmational delay. That will be obviously, that these are all things which will be written, and it will be in the agreement itself. They'll be putting on the agreements and it will be signed by you. And there will be strict parameters to decide on the employment confirmation. As I told you in the earlier slide, what are the things you need to do? You need to be careful on all these things, because there will be very strict parameters to decide on the employment confirmation, because they do not want to, they might not be knowing anything much about you apart from the interview skills which you had, or even your educational, the mark sheets. Apart from that, definitely they do not know much about you. So when you start performing, it'll take some at least 6 months to 1 year for you to start performing. By that time, they'll not be able to decide much on your performance. So obviously the parameters which I have already told you, the earlier slide, is going to be the deciding factor for you for the employment confirmation. And then you need to, many industries, they give skill training. They'll train, on the job training is there, and then the skill upgradation training also will be there. But those things will be under their own cost. The companies will spend on the employee. But now on the upgradation of your skills, definitely the companies will not be in a position either to give a upgradation of your skills. So either they will ask you to go out and on your own cost, you need to train yourself and come in, or even if the need is required, if the need is there, then you need to be careful. You need to go out on your own. If you have enough money, you need to train yourself and upgrade your skills and come in, which means the part-time skill training upgradation. And then the social distancing issues is going to be very critical, because the kind of interaction between your seniors or juniors or even the same level people may not be there. Before, it is not like that. People may be helpful, but due to the social distancing issues, even if you join at this moment, maybe for 6 months or 1 year, that is going to be a little difficult for the freshers. You need to be mingling with people. That is going to be a little difficult, but you need to find the other means of communication, effective communication with these people, so that it will be easy for you to adapt to the environment, to love the environment. You need to basically love the environment, your job, right? So all these things are very important. So, and then the self-protection, there may be unknown sources, unknown sources of infection. So you need to be protecting yourself. And ultimately, your parents need you. Your family needs you. Okay. Maybe if you're married, your spouses need you, your children need you. So, but mostly are not married at this moment, I hope. So your parents, your family needs you. So you need to protect yourself. You cannot say that you need to be you cannot be stubborn in the industries when you go inside, but if there is a need, you need to protect yourself. There is a suspicion that there is a chances of infection. You need to be a little careful about it, because this COVID is very, very strange, and it's not very easy to deal with. So you might be already knowing that, right? So it spreads very fast without even knowing, without even symptoms, it is spreading. So you need to be very careful, take care of your health, and you need to be a little careful about it. So that is one thing. And as I told you, the intermittent infections at workplace are imminent. Definitely, you need to be taking care, and also it affects the work efficiency also. So when there is a problem, when you have a problem in terms of health or in terms of any issues between the communication issues or the performance issues, first thing is you need to be communicating that to your bosses and talking to your subordinates. Okay, because most of you are MBA graduates, so you will be either in the executive level or maybe in fresh managers level. So you will have some people under you, or you may be in the executive level, or maybe having some people under you, and you will have bosses. So you need to be a little more cautious. You need to find ways to communicate with them. If you have a good communication, definitely there will be a chances that you will be having that comfort in the working environment. Okay, so always that is there. So you need to be a little careful on that. You need to work out on that. Okay, now coming to the companies which are shifted out of, I'm just giving a brief idea. I'm not going to go into this too much. There are high chances of, companies, there are chances. High chances means It is not yet happened, but there are chances that these companies who are going out of China because of the world nations giving severe, restrictions on the business with China, they are going to come up, in search of other nations. So in the preferred nations list, India is already there to shift their manufacturing, mainly manufacturing. Okay, so out of that, one thing which is already confirmed is Apple is shifting. Apple is shifting about 20% of its manufacturing facility from China to India. Okay, so it's about 40 billion USD approximately, because Apple is manufacturing the total value of manufacturing Apple's devices and accessories in China is about 220 billion USD. Out of the 220 billion USD, they are now shifting about 20%. Once if it is clicking in India, maybe they'll shift more than that also. But in India, only the consumption of Apple's products is about 1.5 billion to 2 billion USD only. So out of this, even if it is 40 billion, it is going to come India as a manufacturing, the value of the manufactured products. It's only 2% of 2 billion USD only is going to be the market of Indian market. So the remaining will be exports. So it is going to be a very good chances for, there'll be employment will be to the tune of about 20 to 25 lakhs of people may be employed by that. And then many healthcare, pharma manufacturing units from abroad is coming into India. Big companies like Abbott Laboratories has already planned to shift their base. There are many other pharmaceutical companies are coming up. Medical devices manufacturing. Medical devices means like all these devices which are used in the hospitals, the ICUs. All these products are called medical devices. So they are going to. There are many companies. They are going to shift it to India. And then mobile phone manufacturing company, already government has given note for that for many mobile phone manufacturing to come to India. Already there are many companies, but still there are many are coming in. So there will be chances, but we do not know how long it will take. So that is the scenario at this moment. Whether they are going to do it within 6 months or within 1 year or within next 4 years or 5 years, we do not know. The investment plans of these companies is going to be, it's not yet announced. So, but you need to be a little watchful on all this information. So you need to, why I'm giving all this information is you need to focus on such industries to get jobs. So you will get more, you will be able to sustain your jobs. Stability will be able, industrial stability will be there. So you need to be a little careful on your selection of your offers. The electronic components and the chemicals and raw materials. Chemicals and raw materials mostly now are coming from from China or other countries only to India. So now the Indian companies are trying to woo some companies from Europe and US to get the USP of such formulas and USPs of those companies to get those things manufactured in India and export. So definitely chemicals and raw materials manufacturing is also going to come up. But as I told you, it's all going to take some time. Maybe it will take 6 months to maybe up to 5 years. So you need to be a little watchful on all these industries. And government is also focusing on these areas. They have handpicked about 10 sectors. One is electrical, then the pharmaceutical industries, medical devices industry, electronics, heavy engineering, solar equipments, because solar equipments which are manufactured in China is already banned in many countries, developed nations. So already they started routing through their what are the solar cells which they manufacture, they bring it to India and then they sell through India. But now there is going to be a huge resurgence on that sector. Then food processing, chemicals and textiles. Textiles generally earlier it was going to Bangladesh, Indonesia, Thailand and all. But all these abroad companies are trying to get the labor which is cheap in India. They're trying to utilize that and they're trying to come up their facilities in India. So government is also focusing on all these 10 sectors. So I hope I'm able to give a broad idea. So what I'm giving a simple advice to freshers. This is the final slide I'm giving. Probably it is a too lengthy topic. Okay, now what are the advices? First, brush your basics of what you learned. Okay, so all these things are either your theories or probably your practicals. You would have done something, projects you would have done. If you are already a graduate from engineering definitely you need to little brush up that also, because you will have a dual advantage when you go into the industry, manufacturing especially, and softwares and all. So you need to be a little careful if you are able to brush up those things also, the ones which are your undergraduation basics also. So that is very important, because when I interview many people, I do not ask tough questions and all. Definitely, because that is not be in any way useful for me. I'll basically advise you to understand your environment, your basics, even your own self. Even I have asked, small things. When one guy came to an interview, like I was asking him how many years you are using your belt. So he says about 4 years I'm using this belt. Okay, I just immediately asked, what is that number written, or what is that letter written on your belt? He was just shocked. It's a simple question, but I asked because I want to know how observance, how he learns, how he observes things. So for me, so what I am asking is basics. You know about yourself first of all. You know about the environment. You know about all the other things. Ajita, are you able to hear me?
Yeah, we are able to hear you, sir.
Okay, so that is what I mean. Brush the basics and prepare well based on the guidance. Just
So your voice is
and
little bit
also you
breaking.
will get some external guidance. There are so many things, is it okay now? I think
It's
there's some
okay now,
instability
sir.
in the internet.
Yeah, I can
Okay,
understand. Now it's okay.
right. Okay, then the on-campus and off-campus interviews, like don't wait for only on-campus. You need to focus on the off-campus interviews also, because the situations are very different. If you are having plans to, if you do not get a job, you want to go up for your PhD or anything, definitely you can go up, or even for research and all. But if you really want a job, if that is the thing, like you need to go out of the campus also to get more interviews. Okay, the more and more you get into the interviews, you'll be able to perform well in an interview. At one point of time, you'll be selected. Okay, sometimes you may get in the first interview itself. Sometimes you need to work out more and more for more interviews, and don't get disheartened by that. First time if you're not selected, don't get upset by that. You need to be more focused on that. And then you need to decide wisely before joining a company. Once you join the company, you need to give your stability. So that's why I'm giving you an idea. You need to be a little wise in deciding. But if you're having more than one offer, you need to take wise decisions from advisors through your friends and your siblings, your staffs and all. So you need to be a little wise on decisions. And as I told you, you need to be informative. This is an advice I'm giving. All this summarize the advices. We need to be informative. Read or watch the news and current affairs. That is because now I'm seeing mostly people are not interested in news. Either they are only worried about their social networking all the time, not worried about the current affairs, updating yourself. So that is very important. When for going to the interviews and the group discussions and all. So and then when you join the company, you need to be stable in a company for a longer period as much as possible. That is very important. That is one biggest advice I would say, the stability, because I as an entrepreneur had been having these issues of instability from the people. Just for small things, they'll get upset and they'll go out. Because their parents might be having, they might be working and they do not want to get the support of, their wards. So obviously, the people, when they get some small things, they will say, I was not at all in their life. They used to say, I was not at all scolded by my parents. Now you people are scolding us. So that is kind of things. At this, we are facing all these things, and immediately people will resign and go. So you need to be a little careful on this thing, because today the environment is different. And not only today, this is a lesson for you to be, because if you are able to give us stability, companies definitely will do well, because companies are putting a lot of effort and they are believing you. You also put effort back and believe them and give your 100% or to the maximum. Be a good learner. And the last one is, you become an entrepreneur also. If you have unique ideas, Definitely you can come up the ideas. There are so many organizations in India, like I mean, they can fund your ideas to become an entrepreneur. I would welcome that step also. But many people, they'll become an entrepreneur. They will the initial you won't taste the success immediately. The success won't come very fast. You need to struggle. There will be a L-shaped curve. There will be a W-shaped curve. There will be a B-shaped curve also. But only 10% of the businesses come into V-shape. So you have to be careful on all these things. So these are the advices I have given. I think I have covered a lot of topics. Some may be interesting, some may be boring, but hope this has given you a broad idea.
Thank you, sir.
So Ajita, so I think I've done.
Yes, sir.
Hopefully now we can go for question sessions. Like
Yes,
I
sir.
think this time.
We have few sessions.
I think we started somewhere around 4:20, right? If I'm not wrong.
Yeah, it is
Okay,
usually our session is from 4 to 5 and we have exceeded by 20 minutes. So I'll make a quick questioning and a few of the questions I hope I'll give you in person and you can answer me.
I can
send it
sure,
because
I can
as it's time consuming, what we'll do. I'll quickly give some of your questions which has been asked.
Yeah.
Some of the students some of them have asked is there any possibility of increasing in excise percentage? There is a student known as Shilpa Savior. She's asking, is there any possibility of increase in excise taxes? Any percentage?
Is there any possibility of excise taxes?
Yes.
Okay. I do not know in what context she is asking. But they have already abolished the excise system in India for most of the companies. They have because this question is not specific, so I'm broadly covering. Okay. So most of the industries are only paying GST. Earlier, it was excise for the manufacturing and many sectors, and then there will be other VAT and taxes will be there. Other local taxes will be there, or CST will be there. Now, all things have been rounded to GST. So since it is GST, already the components which are from the excise is already covered under the GST. So they have only one single tax, and that tax will be internally between the central and state government will be shared. Earlier it was not like that. Excise comes under the central government. Okay, so now it is not like that. So there will be a sharing percentage. So it is like that now. Now coming to this specifically, if she's asking, your student is asking the question whether to put an excise component to generate income. I do not know whether that is the specific which she want to ask. In that manner, I would respond. There is a component called cess. Okay, cess, that is called for when we in businesses we used to give to the government. There's called a higher education cess. Education cess, higher education cess. Sometimes when there is a situation like cyclone and all disaster, we call that as a disaster cess. So which means a portion, say about 1 or 2% of the tax portions will be increased to give that portion, that 2% will only go to that fund, that disaster fund or relief fund or anything. So those kind of cesses, CESS, cess. So that is probably possible, which many already are asking the government to put levy cess on the businesses. So maybe it may not be a huge impact on one particular community. Maybe it will be throughout all the businesses, even small industries, small restaurants. Even when you are paying, there will be a cess will be levied. A small cess will be levied. That amount will go to that particular fund. So maybe that is eminent. I doubt excise is already there only for now tobacco, petrol, and liquors. Mostly, except maybe even some chemicals, very very rare chemicals are also having excise. But more general industries, they are not having excise. So maybe that excise probably in those industries may go up. If that goes up also, as already there is a fluctuation in the prices of this thing, the tobacco, probably cigarettes and liquors and this one. So the prices will go up on that sector. Yes.
We have a question from Jayashri. She's asking will the freshers can be stable to the shaky economic recession with respect to managerial conditions?
I think it's a two question put together. Can you repeat it?
Yeah. like pressures, can they be stable in the shaky economic recession? And she's asking with respect to the managerial conditions.
Okay, so I think I have covered this through that, the method of recovery. So the pressures will be there. Definitely, the pressures are going to be on not only on the managers, it is going to be on everyone. But why I am specifically saying on managers like you, freshers, fresh managers will have a lot of things to think about. You need to, there is no, all these theories which you would have learned probably through your lessons is not going to help. You need to reinvent yourself based on those as basics. You need to be more on reinventing the techniques for your performance, like for your ability. You need to constantly reinventing yourself. So I think the pressures can be only be relieved by being yourself a smart and efficient worker, giving your good productivity. If that is not there, generally it's not only during the session, anywhere, anytime there is going to be pressure on you. So, and the pressure will be mounting on you during these kind of situations, and you will be not given a second chance to work. You will be immediately asked out of this thing, like you will be asked to resign. That's the scenario in many companies, and definitely you need to withstand your pressures. The pressure should not take you out of the environment. So you need to be constantly in the environment. Means like you need to be inside the environment, inside the company, the need of the company to be addressed constantly. You need to put your efforts. All these things will definitely ease the pressure on you.
Okay. There is a question from Gundla Mamata. She's asking, like, she's interested in programming languages and how is the future of it? Do she have some future opportunities on that? That's what she's asking.
Learning other languages.
Yeah. Programming language. Yeah, I can understand. Yeah. She has to learn other programming languages. Okay, sir. We'll end the session as the participants are, they might, it's very long. So I have given my mail ID. Once they mail me, I'll get the questions and I'll get back to you. That may be better because
you send
the
me,
webinar was.
I would like to answer, and I definitely would like to come to your college one day and
sure, sir. Thank you so much
on the requirements of the industry.
Sure, sir. And like the webinar was very informative, sir, and you gave a very deep insight on the current scenarios, what is being going on. You explained very clearly the deficit in the budget, how was it, the surplus and the deficits, and how India yearns through it. And GDP was explained in a very simple manner. The how COVID is affecting, and how does the surplus countries are being affected now, and how industries are getting affected because of the COVID-19. And you very clearly explained how tourism, sports, entertainment, retail, fintech are getting affected. And very apt of the moment, you very clearly explained about using the shapes of V, W, and L. And what was expected from the freshers was that how the industry expects from the freshers. And you told very clearly how sincere they have to be, how punctual, efficiency, smart work, stability, observe and learn, do research. Very, very informative. And I can see the chat boxes. I hope you can also see. It's like overwhelming, telling that it's a very informative session.
I'll go through the chat box.
Sure, sir. I can go through it.
I'll definitely go through, and I'll sum up even more information. If there is anything, definitely I'm willing to answer. So you participants, definitely I can be more useful to you. You can call anytime, and definitely.
Sure, sir. And you told very clearly about the hiring scenarios, what is going on, and currently what the sectors are expecting. And the challenges like salary negotiation, upgrading in the self-protections, how manufacturing sectors are shifting to India, government focus and everything. It was very apt for the hour, and thank you so much, sir. We are very thank you. It was great sharing, and we didn't know that the time was passing on. And students are giving a very valuable feedback, telling and even Gulchan sir has a message telling that it was very enlightened and informative. And thank you, sir. It was very apt for the hour. This is what we are expecting. Everything you can see in the chat box. Thank you so much, sir. On behalf of ITM Business School, Chennai, I thank all the participants as well as our guests for attending, the participants who are attending and our guests who gave a very valuable answers for the questions. Also, the Q&A we were unable to do because of lack of time, but provided we'll send for everybody the answers for what you have asked. Please give your phone number or your mail ID so that it will be helpful for us to give it back to you. And special thanks to the organizing committee. If anything remained unanswered, please do send your email ID. We'll be answering to it within 2 days of time. We hope you enjoyed the presentation. Kindly give your feedback in the chat window. Good luck to all of you. We truly appreciate your support. And please do join us in tomorrow's webinar on the topic, how to impromptu speaking by Mr. Pinto Cham, Divisional Director, Toastmasters International. Meet you all tomorrow at 4 p.m. Thank you so much. Please do give your feedback on the feedback on the chat window. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.